I just wanted to pull it out fully here, but you know, there's some whopper tools on this thing, like this giant face mill, this big one, the huge hogging hob here. I guess it's a chamfer mill. It's just absolutely massive. I have some massive tooling that came with the Abine. You know, very large boring bar setup for the Cat-40. Another huge mill right there. I have some very, very big boring bars down here. Obviously, this big boy, which I'm going to do something else with. And then a big whopper at the bottom. Like, you can't see it. That's a 16-inch diameter boring bar set up, that big boy there. I was thinking I'd turn it into a fly cutter, but I'll figure that out as I go. And yeah, huge industrial boring bar setups. Bunch of them. Some big stuff. I don't have all the arbor stuff on here, but obviously I'll keep building this out a little bit more. But yeah, super happy with it as of now. This thing is very rigid, very tight. Obviously I replaced all the bolts with grade 8 5/16 bolts, which, you know, needed to get done. But super happy with how this guy turned out. Alright, that's it for the video. Thank you guys. Alright guys, I'm going to unbox one of these. The quality is more impressive than I thought it was going to be. Everything's so cheap. Again, the intent is to combine 4 of these guys together and make a fixture that can hold 140 tools. Each one of these 4 originally set up to hold 35 tools, and they use like the kind of a knockoff Lista holder, which I'm trying to. It's not bad. Like, it's all pretty thick, but I'm trying to do this for the price of 4 of these $120-something Vevor carts, instead of like a Huit, whatever, Huit. Those are, they sell a whole cart for $500, but it only holds 48 tools. It doesn't have like these holders. It has more of a grommet system. So this is more of a Lista style holder. And, you know, if I was gonna get a 140 Lista style tool holders, I'd be poor. So these are a pretty decent alternative. Not bad. I don't particularly dig the Superman blue and red, but it is painted. So I'm going to try to do everything bolted to not really kill the paint. But it's fairly thick. I think it's got to be close to 16 gauge, which is pretty impressive for something like this. Not bad. These are quite beefy. They have this whole racking system. It's very, very rigid, which is quite impressive for the price. Just the little shelves. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these yet. Paint's not great. I just cut it, but it's on there. The corners aren't welded together. That would have been kind of a nice touch, but I get that that would be, maybe they are sometimes, sometimes not. But pretty thick. That ain't bad. The hardware, I have a bunch of 5/16 grade 8 stuff, and I think that's just like one size up. This stuff looks like maybe M6, so I don't know the origin of it. I'm going to end up switching everything out to 5/16 grade 8, just because I'm putting 140 tools together, and you know, I'm probably going to be touching 1,000 pounds if it's fully loaded. And I think the wheels are rated for 1,000. I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure they are. Feels fairly not bad. It's been locked for so long, there's like a divot in the tire. They're not bad. They got bearings. I'm gonna have to do a little digging to make sure these are the 1,000 pounds rated wheels, or I'm gonna have to get new wheels for it. I might have to support one of the bases for the wheels too, but you know, I'll detail that and dig into it as I go. They lock in both directions. They're wheels. Definitely not the nicest things I've ever seen, but I mean, the sheet metal they give you for this is pretty on par with a decent quality product so far. I got to unbox 4 of these, but I'm not going to subject you guys to that. It's thick enough. It's not real light duty stuff, but it's not super impressive either. This base plate is impressive though. That is pretty not bad for sheet metal. I like that it's folded over and bent over like that. This one appears to have some maybe welding. That's a pretty substantial piece. Wall is the same gauge, it feels. Pretty thick. Got some gravity to it. It's not the lightest thing. Yeah, these can be pushed around a little bit. They're definitely not welded, and they're definitely not perfect. But we're going to be doing a lot of holes in these anyway, and I'm going to be doubling these up. So at the end of the day, hopefully it looks like that, the wall section and quad. Let me... Yeah, I'm pretty happy with these right now. So I'm going to start piecing together my idea and go from there. So I got to do this 4 times, and I want to keep it tight. So I made a quick jig that I can pre-place my 3 holes that are going to connect this piece to that piece there. I'll put it in there. I could start the holes. Alright, so I do it on both sides, and then I bolt it together. So these holes aren't centered to the face, so basically I gotta make sure I'm conscious. Keep them in line while I do the next side. Alright. I'll grab some bolts. Bolt these two together. Do that 3 more times. And then I got my 4 walls that I'm going to then sandwich together to make these double thick and to make the flat face on the outside on both sides. Obviously there's a lot more to do than that, but just want to do that. Ideally it would be better if I offset it, but I didn't want to cut these and weld them or do anything like that. So I'm going to do it this way. It's going to look cleaner, and I'm going to rely on extra bottom pieces that I have as center supports as I go up. Alright, so I have 5/16, 5/8 flange grade 8s. I luckily have these left over from a previous project. That's a 1/2 inch hardware too, and a little bit of 3/4 left, but should have enough. I haven't even opened the Vevor hardware to see if it's any good or bad. I just assume it's not going to be this big, or this, or like a grade 8 or grade 10, metric equivalent. Let's see. Yeah, like. So I think an M6 is a little less than a 5/16. In my opinion, 5/16 is like the first structural bolt if you're bolting stuff together. Even though I'm not Loctiting anything, the nuts are Nylock, so it should be pretty good, I think. Okay, first wall. Not bad. And I'll show it after I'm done with putting all 4 of these together, but I printed out my new hole pattern on the plotter at work, and I'm going to lay it out, drill it out that way in order to try to accurately get all my holes for all of those pieces. And then I got to make some kind of through connection to connect this with the other clamshell that's going to go on it. And that's really how I'm building this thing. Alright, so I got my paper laid out with a bunch of little magnets. Squares I can get it, I feel. Pretty happy with it. Clearly not the straightest panels, but that's fine. It's not bad. I'm gonna go with that. I got my optical center. I'm going to just bang out all these holes, center line of them, and to start drilling them. I have a couple pieces of 2x4 underneath this to act as a deadener. And I'm just going to get to work.
Alright, so next I'm going to put the center braces on and the bottom brace, and then I'll start trying to lay in all of the new shelves that we have. Oh geez, it's hard to get this whole thing into frame, and the heat's on, but so I do that. It's fairly rigid. I don't even have the outer walls on. Pretty happy with that. Once I get all of the rows in, it's gonna probably get very rigid and pretty heavy at the same time. But yeah, pretty happy with how that's turning out. I'm gonna try to get one row in at the top just to give you guys a view and figure out their mounting system, but boom. And if I'm going to stand in a second row here, second row will be like this. And this side has 8, the other side has 9. The spacing changes. The farther up they are, the closer they are to the center of it. And just that one adds so much stiffness to this. I'm going to be very stoked how stiff it is when it's done. And I still got to put the outer panels on the thing, which are going to add even more stiffness to it. So I'm really excited where this is going. I got to figure out their hanger system. I think it's like some kind of T-nut and like an M3 or M4 screw, but I'll figure that out. The angle is 55 degrees off of 90, or 55 degrees off 90 that way, 35 degrees. It's just the best angle I came up with to make this work. And yeah, this is gonna look awesome. Alright, first side, all 9 of them are in. This is the bigger side of the 2. Looks great. I don't know how that camera angle works, I'm super high. But it's all fitting pretty well. I had to re-drill one hole. It was off a little bit, but I'll take that. I'll take that every day. Yeah, I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Get that together, get the top on, and then I got to fully tighten everything down. Get these guys in. And then the inner structure's done. And I got to work on doing the outer. Apologies, you can't see this very well. That's a 5/16 bolt. That is the biggest piece of hardware they have, which is probably like an M4. So that's a significantly different strength, or amount of weight that this can carry with their provided hardware and the stuff I'm using to do what I did here. That is extremely rigid now with all of the cross bracing in. Like, I can't stress enough how good the metal is, how thick it is, how it's all bent, and it's not perfectly welded, but it's like 16 gauge, it's bent well, all that's really nice. The holders are really nice. All the holes that went on the sides of the brackets were very consistent because I just went off one when I built my template and I drilled it. It all lined up beautifully. I didn't really have to do any kind of... I drilled out one hole on both sides, all at the bottom, to get those in. The top, every hole's drilled.
every hole's been widened because it just doesn't line up. So I think with the little M4 hardware, you can make it line up, but with the 5/16 it's much bigger, so I needed to drill the holes out more to get that to work. So your miles may vary, but I definitely would think about buying one of these carts as a budget cart regardless. Those 35 tools, because it's $130 or something like that. But do yourself a favor and go get some real hardware and be prepared to drill some stuff out if you want something that's gonna be as good as it can be, because the metal part is great. So that's it for this part. I'm gonna have to take all of the plastic out, actually screw it, lock everything in tight, and then work on doing, even if I want to do the sides. I don't even know at this point, because like this thing is stiff as hell right now, and probably gonna do the sides, but I don't know. I'll take it from here. I gotta put all these in. This is gonna be its own little system with these weird little blocks to lock all those in, which that's going to be metric, so I'm going to have a half metric, half standard cart, but that's fine. It's for me, and I'm going to know what the hell I did. But yeah, that's it for tonight. I'm going to go to bed. Alright, a lot happened over a short amount of time in the video, but it's been about 3 hours from when I started doing this to now. I tightened everything up. I put all of the actual holders in with the screws provided. There was enough of them, just enough of them, which is good. And I put it on the wheels. This thing is rigid. Pretty stoked about that. I'm gonna grab a couple holders, a Cat-40 small holder, an NMTB 40 monster boy, and yeah, holds them really nice. If you take this, put underneath of it, there's enough room. Side. Still more than enough room. Taking it out. Big boy sits in there. Obviously that sticks out a little bit, the big one, but the small one doesn't, which is kind of the key here. I put the big stuff up top, and then the small stuff is can go on the sides. Keep the profile tight. This thing is very stiff with everything in it. It's quite stiff, quite happy with it. I gotta start assembling the other portions on the outers that I still want to do the outer shell, even though this is very rigid the way it is. I have all the pieces, you know, left over from the kit, so I might as well. I'm out of nuts. I thought I had enough nuts. I did not, which is a shame, so I'll figure out nuts. For everything else, a couple of the casters don't have grade 8 nuts on them. They have like old aircraft stainless steel fasteners, or nuts at least, and I Loctited those in place instead of the grade 8 lock nuts that I have. But yeah, we're cruising along. All right, guys. So I made a jig with 6 holes, evenly spaced. This is going to help me set my second panels on the side of my first panels. And my first jig worked out so well that I decided to try to go this way again. These are oak, so they last a little longer than the plywood jig did.
concept's exactly the same.
gotta tweak them.
So the idea is I'm going to glue in the nuts with some hot glue to keep them in place. And then I'll flip it over, hopefully sandwich it together and bolt it down, or crank it down with the, the bolt in this side, glue it in, and I'll crank it down with the nut on the other side. And I'm not looking for a ton of hold with the glue, so I'm going hot glue. But we'll see if this is a good idea. I don't know. Let me get out the chips now, because they'll just end up rattling. Take this. Oh.
Basically, that greatly stiffened up, obviously, because these are connected in the center, that really stiffened up this outer one, so it's super stiff now. So when I bolt it onto that, I should stiffen up, you know, half this thing incredibly well. Because I had this extra bottom pan that I wasn't using for anything. I used the other three in the structure. This fourth one, it'll fit nice in how my wall's set up in there. And yeah, the hot glue worked pretty well. Nothing spun, which is good. So that's how I'm going to affix these to the actual frame of the tool holder. These are going to be easier because I have more room. That the flange on the bottoms are tighter than the flange on the sides, so I got a little more room to play, so I won't have to manipulate so much stuff. And yeah, really happy with how that turned out. I got to drill the bottoms of the cart and start putting all this together. Alright guys, so I put both sides on it. I'll take some better B-roll when I get it upstairs in the garage. But, sorry, I'm hand doing this. So the front, I put the shelves that came with it, just to have shelves. I made this one upside down. I figured I'll mount my, it's very sturdy, so I figured I'll mount my, you know, 40 taper tool changing jig on that, or anything else on that shelf, and I'll toss like collets and stuff like that in the other shelves. I put some of the handles on it. Not necessary. I probably should put them actually up here, a little easier than where they are there, but hindsight, there's plenty of stuff to grab to move this thing around. And yeah, very happy with it. I guess the other thing to show is I put these little black plastic caps on the holes I made in order to tighten down the secondaries. This thing is sturdy and heavy and quite big. And I'll get some better photos and some better lighting when I get it upstairs. It's about 200 pounds. I gotta go up the staircase, which it's gonna be interesting. But extremely happy with how this has turned out. So it fits right where I wanted it to. It's completely loaded up with tools. I'll try to pull this out one-handed. There's enough room between my mill and it. So I'm not in the light on this side. Apologies, guys. Let me try to get a light going. Let me get a light set up. So I got a light set up now. This whole rack on this side, this is the 9x7, so 63 holders here. These are NMTB40s. Everything up here is NMTB40 as well. It's just the tooling I have. I have some extra tooling here. This is all Cat-40. I got a couple extra pieces down there, which I will clean up a little bit as I go. I think I'm going to make another shelf. Let me... Where that is, I think I'm going to make another tool rack there that fits in this spot. But that'll be a future idea. hard it is one-handed now. But then this side, hope you guys can see that, it's still a little dark. This side is all Cat-40 tooling. So this is the side with 8, so 8 times 7 is 56. 56 tools there, plus 63 everywhere else. Or 60, yeah. Fits great. I have some extra tooling here. These are BT40s, which I gotta do something with. And those are, I think, some kind of cats. Maybe they're BTs as well, I'm not sure. But a couple extra tools there. And this piece here that fits in pretty well. Completely very satisfied with how it fits. Butts against the wall. Pretty tight. Sticks out a little bit from that, but not too bad. Yeah, I'm very happy with how it turned out. Clearly, I gotta do something with that shelf area there. And maybe I'll figure it out. I see I can add some more to it. It's very sturdy. It rolls pretty nice. It's very accessible to get everything. I have a lot of tooling that came with my mill and my other mill that I haven't showed yet on camera. But I'm very happy with how this came out. And I will just go with some B-roll footage after this. This is the last of this build. I mean, if I was being honest, maybe I should have got 6 of them and went up again and used all my my Z height that I have. But I'm pretty happy with this. It's definitely a good height for me, good height for the shop. Again, it holds 140 tools, plus everything I have on the shelves. Huge amount of tools for the money. And it's very rigid right now. I probably didn't even need to put on the secondary faces on everything, but it just, I think it looks a little bit better. I mean, obviously there's a lot of bolt holes, but I don't really care. It was a budget build to hold a ton of tools to fit in a very specific area that I had. And yeah, I'm very happy with how it turned out. Sandra at Flory PB, hope you enjoyed this. Not my normal stuff, but definitely needed this to help my shop. See you guys.